Hi, I'm Matt Guy, and I bought this beautiful $6,000 house in the deep snow country of Myoko in Japan, 10 minutes away from some of the best ski resorts in the country. This is my property renovation and lifestyle series, where I'll be teaching you how to do the same thing that I'm doing. Or you can just follow along if you want to see my journey. I've also traveled extensively through Japan and have visited all 47 prefectures in the country. I've hiked some of the highest peaks and been to countless numbers of ski resorts. You can check my Instagram for more adventures too, at im.macguy. Thanks for subscribing and for your support. Happy travels! Today I'm giving you a quick tour of my small radius, where I live and the town that I live in. It's all going to be on foot within 10 minutes from my house. I am just going to be walking the streets and showing you what's available right on my doorstep. Enjoy! Welcome to my neighborhood. This video is going to be a tour of my local town. In the summer, it is very different in the winter. I'll focus on some of the restaurants, some of the local businesses, where I do my shopping. I'll also cover the recreational activities and the things that people like to do around here. Starting from my house, let's see what I have close by. My neighbor here is a builder. It's owned by a woman, this company, and she's been here for 80 years. Her family, she's taken care of this business for more than 30 years herself. She is mid-70s, and all of her staff that work here are in their 70s. These are old school master builders. They build anything from houses just like this one to temples and shrines. They do everything you can imagine. These guys have been a wealth of information for me, and if I've ever got any issues, I can speak to them directly. That could be anything from living in Japan, living in Myoko, to how do I fix my bathroom? How do I deal with some of these construction issues and materials that I might not have in Japan? These guys keep all of their tools and equipment here, and they even let me use that if I want to. They also stock timber, wood, and other materials, and they've also said if I would like to use that, I can use that. There goes one of my neighbors. He loves doing photography, and we just had a quick chat. I didn't want to film that, but he just goes up to the mountain and takes photos. While I'm at the back of my house here, so I am doing this tour of the neighborhood, but I am going to say you can see the change in season. Before I left, I actually cleared this entire land, and it was just soil. So for those that remember my garden, I actually had big trees standing here. I took them all down with the help of my neighbors, using their tractor here. Very kind of them to do that. They saw me struggling and came out to help. Since I've come back, this has all grown. So this was completely cleared and ready for me to start working on the garden. I'd actually planned to make some kind of driveway here. I do have my shed behind me where I can park and store my car, but my car is a large car. It doesn't fit so well in here for daily life, and my only parking option really will be here on my property. So I have no choice but to, I had no choice but to change the layout of my garden. I did like it, but I need to make it more practical for my daily life. I'll cover this in another video later on down the track, so I won't get caught up here with the big plans. I'll keep moving along. But it is a good way to quickly see the change in the season. During the winter, snow reaches up to the windows up here, where it falls off the roof and will come down here. As the snow starts to melt, there is nothing here. It looks completely dead, drab and gray, dark and soil, but without any effort at all. Actually, my effort was to remove all of this to prepare for the next building works. It has all completely grown back by itself. And as I swing around and look out to my beautiful view down here, you can see exactly the same thing. So all of this garden area was a massive bee. All of this garden area was just soil. These flowers, actually, I brought some of them over here through my soil. So I was actually told by my neighbors that this area, this particular rice field, this patch of land here, and this patch of land here is where the community will put anything that they're trying to get rid of on their land. Butterfly there. So those hydrangeas over there were actually mine. And they've just grown. I've just took them over there and they've grown. So we've made this a kind of community garden without trying. How wonderful. Now my next door neighbor is a sushi restaurant. I have been blessed with having this restaurant beside me. They do incredible sushi at a very reasonable price. The people here are a couple who work here, and they originally came from Tokyo, and they moved out of Tokyo to come and live in the countryside, as a lot of people do in Japan too, and set up their business. Move away from the big city and come out and enjoy this world out here. Highly recommend this place, and great people. They actually use some of the flowers in my garden to decorate their sushi plates. Also very helpful, have been very helpful to me with learning about life in Myoko. From my next door neighbor, my sushi restaurant, I'm gonna walk down the street a little further. So my house is just beside us here. And we're gonna go down this way and just do a quick lap of the block. And when you start walking down the street, you'll notice a couple of different things. Firstly, down on my left, there's another restaurant here. These guys make a variety of different food, and they specialize in eel, unagi. So that's an unagi restaurant. Again, these guys are really popular. So that's 2 restaurants so far. Straight ahead here on the right is an abandoned hotel. And when I say abandoned, someone most likely owns it. They just don't do anything with it. That's the Sagawa delivery truck going by. Someone had an IKEA box. It's looking pretty. All these greens. There wasn't a house here. There was a bar, restaurant here when I moved in. And since I moved in, they demolished this place. They knocked that down, and it looks like they've actually set out the land with pegs to build something new. So that I might have a neighbor here at some point. This road here, this pathway, leads through to a hot spring onsen. I'll come around there shortly. We're gonna take a right here for now, just to capture everything around my block. So we're just doing a quick circle. This is that abandoned hotel, and in the middle of winter, it's completely covered in snow. And you'll see at the front here as I come around what that snow has done over the years. And we're talking about 10 meters of snowfall per year. And when I bring up snow, what we have down here is this canal. And these canals are to do 2 things in Japan, especially in the mountains. One is to handle the amount of water from the rain, which is an incredible amount in Japan. They get some of the most rain in the world. And the other thing is to deal with the snow, so people can offload their snow. So this house, for example, they've made their roof fall directly into this channel, and that's going to carry away their snow easily, rather than have to shovel that onto the street and for the snow removal to remove that. And again, talking about snow, there's another nice point here. This is one of the high fire hydrants. This one's actually a smaller one, but as I walk around, you'll notice that there's some high ones. They're about 3 meters tall. It's quite unique for anywhere in Japan. This is big snow country. So coming back now, you can see that abandoned hotel and the damage that has occurred over the years of it not being occupied, not being maintained. Just being demolished. This is a local small camera store. I've never been inside, but they do sell camera related things and do prints for cameras. Fujifilm. And here we go again. Just the sheer destruction from the snow. Incredible, huh? Nobody lives in this place. Nobody maintains this place. I've never seen anybody here. And then as I come up the street, you'll see another abandoned hotel right here. And again, this is not abandoned. This one's actually for sale. I don't remember the cost exactly, but in my opinion, they've got it up very high for a strong market right now. Most likely thanks to me making these videos, but just people discovering Myoko Kogen, which is up there, by the way. I haven't even pointed that out yet, but that is Myoko-san, covered in clouds now. It was actually clear earlier, but now it's covered in clouds. And again, my house is just over here. Myoko-san is here. It's roughly 5 minutes away by car to the closest ski resort. Even in these abandoned hotels, they still have these beautiful flowers that are blooming right now. And I believe this is the flower. It's a type of hydrangea. And I believe this is the one for Nagasaki. If someone's watching this from Nagasaki, let me know if I'm incorrect, but I believe that's the Nagasaki prefectural flower. All right, turning back around. And I mean, I could spend a whole video on just talking about this hotel and the other hotels in the area that are not being used. So right now I'm 2 minutes from my house, or less. It's just back behind me. And over on the left, we have a really popular Onsen hotel, popular with local Japanese tourists who come here. When they come to Myoko, this is a hotel they may choose to stay at because it has got a great reputation, awesome hotel. Again, this one on the left here is abandoned. It's a huge, huge building. And you can see a glimpse there of Ikino-taira, or Alpenblick ski resort. That's my closest one. I'm actually going to take this direction down here and show you something pretty special. This is just a quick view of that hotel at the front, for sale if someone's interested. Now this is one of my two pharmacies. There's me. Hey, what's happening? Pharmacy here, very close by. Cool little car over there. I just feel so happy to get this view every time I walk around the streets. As this is opened up here, now you can see Akakura Kanko ski resort up there on the left, and on the right side is Akakura Onsen. That's about 7 minutes from my place. If you look carefully, you can see the ski jump up there. Hopefully I zoomed in because it's hard to see on my screen with this brightness right now. Next up, we've got my cake shop, my local cake shop, Mochiya. And this lady is really friendly, super nice lady, beautiful smile, wonderful person. She makes amazing cakes. Maybe I'll go in there and buy something from her. Here we go. Konnichiwa. シュークリーム一つで、はい、以上です。はい、150円。はい。The cake at my local panyasan or cake shop is really awesome, and something I learned a long time ago when I traveled to Japan. I think it was the second time. I stayed in Nara with a Japanese lady who was living in a small community, something like this. And she took me and a friend that I was traveling with to a small shop that was selling just cookies. The girl that owned the store was about 23 years old, and all she did was sell 3 types of cookies. The person that introduced us to this, the Japanese person we was staying with, said that this was her dream. This girl who opened the store's dream was to create this store and sell this type of cookie that she had envisioned. And the community, whether or not they really wanted the cookie, they went there to buy one occasionally just to support her business. And that's something that kind of left a mark on me. I try to shop locally, and I try to help people with making their dreams come true. So it sounds really cliche, and I feel like it sounds really cliche, but helping people, supporting people with what they're trying to do in a small town like this is really important. We want everyone to survive. We want everyone to live a good life and not only be able to afford to live a comfortable life, but also be able to do something that they want to do. So I will regularly come out and try to spend money in local businesses like this. So as I pass by my cake shop and carry on down the street, there's something else quite special around here. It's our local onsen. But before I get there, I will also mention that there are some other construction companies just here, some other building services. I believe on the very end there we have electricity, an electrician, and a builder just here. This here is actually where I park during winter. It's common for people to pay for parking. I pay for parking to stay here, so I don't have to clear my car every day. I don't have a space large enough to put my car, so I pay a fee of around less than $50 a month to park in here, and it's super helpful for me. This one looks like it's been abandoned, and there might even be a note on there from the owner to say, get rid of it. Actually, that's probably that's actually an advertisement to say, if you want to sell, let us buy it from you. We'll get rid of it for you. So we'll go back down this way, and I haven't gone too far. I'm less than 5 minutes from my house. And here we have an onsen on the left. Right now it's closed. It's 11 a.m. in the morning. But this is a beautiful retro old school style onsen where you'll mostly find either onsen aficionados traveling into Myoko. Usually Japanese people use this, or you'll find this to be heavily used by the local community. So when I go in there, I end up having a chat with my neighbors who have come in to have an onsen for the day. So farming community, agricultural community, builders, very working class. Now I can there's so much to see. Now I can either go this way or go through this way back towards my house, because I'm just kind of circling around. I can really just keep going. On the left here we have an Italian restaurant. This one is a little bit more expensive than other restaurants, but I mean, when I say expensive, it's about $30 or less USD, to say $20 USD for food, and that's an expensive restaurant here. They're drying their futons and clothing in this beautiful sunlight. It's the best time to do it in this area. And this is an old, it's no longer used anymore, but this is also, it was a restaurant, but it's no longer occupied. And coming back, you might be surprised that these properties are lived in, and people do live here. It's just a quiet town. So instead of going back there, that's that two abandoned hotels straight in front. Oh wow, look at the garden. Spectacular. If I look over the back, I haven't pointed that out either. That's actually Madurao Ski Resort. Way back there. It's about 20 minutes from here. Madarao Ski Resort. That's Tangaram, actually, on this side. So you go to the top of the mountain there, you can take a chairlift and drop into Madarao on the other side. Super convenient. Another ski resort. You don't have to do anything with the flowers here. They just come back to life. It's incredible having all that snow, the colors in the town. So my house is back through there. I'm going to walk up this way just for a change. Flowers, may as well take a quick look at the other ones while we're here. I'll have to do another video to cover the flowers too. So with this floral and fauna side, flora and fauna, because we're slightly higher in the mountains, we get this a little bit later than everywhere else. So for example, the cherry blossoms, they come a little bit later than the warmer areas, which is great. We have that to look forward to if we go off to somewhere like Kyoto, for example, and come back. We can come back and enjoy our own flowers too. The peaceful life of the countryside. This is my closest shrine to the house. My house is just over here. For perspective, you can see the building company at the top there. That one, I'm next door to that. This is our local Onsen association building in here. And there are festival and events in this area. Where I'm standing here is where there will be stalls set up for different types of matsuri festivals, local community gatherings. It will happen here, right next to this temple here. There's a beautiful space just here, big opening. This building behind here will open up, this Onsen Association building, and this space will all be used for local events. Yeah, and then if I flip it, you can see how great the view is behind. Mountains are covered right now, but I love clouds too. I'm going to walk through this way, just to have a quick view of these gardens too. People are spending their time with creating their own foods in the area, as well as just making it pretty, and nature just kind of fills in the gaps, does the rest. Some really beautiful views here. What's interesting about some of the buildings is their aspects do not face towards the mountain for the views. It's pretty common that you'll see buildings with an aspect away from the mountain, and this is to make the most of the sunlight, to save on things like the heating bill, electricity, make the most of the natural heating. So you would think, I mean, if this was in a Western country, this whole wall would be glazed to view that, but that's just not how it works here. Okay, so now we're coming out of that walkway. This garden is looking great. You just can't tell if nature's done this or if they've gone to the effort of planting these things, but I just know that from my own garden they come back. Whether you want them to or not, they come back. Again, there's a building company here. This is storage, just for a construction company. It's actually my construction company next door. And this is their storage room. The storage room has this view. Yeah, impressive. This is my closest gas station. It's just less than 10 seconds drive from the house. Super convenient, price isn't crazy. Yeah, it's a local business. Try to support it to keep local jobs in the community. So from that gas station, I'm gonna take a left and go up the street and walk towards a small cafe that's pretty close by. Just a few minutes, maybe 10 minutes walk. We'll see what we can find along the way. So I walked a little bit further down the street. We're gonna cross over here. It's okay to do this in the countryside. And wow, these flowers are really pretty. This is a good space to just talk about these rooftops here. You can see a variety of roof shapes just in this small bunch of houses. Now, this one right in the middle here, if I zoom in, that one's there with a small pitch on the roof and these retainers to hold the snow in place. That could be for a variety of reasons. I'm guessing there's probably a road down there and they don't want that to fall, or at least initially that was designed for that to not fall and hit people as they walked by in the event that snow just fell without warning. That's exactly the same how my roof is designed, to stop snow from falling on a busy street. But the next one, I'm not sure what they have down the bottom there, but the next one has a splitter. And that part at the top there, that sharp, pointy part, that helps split the snow at the top and gets it started to slide off easier. These days, that's the kind of roof that people would build, and that's what you want to make your life much easier. You can see that other one, the blue one on the right, that's also going to hold the snow in place for whatever reason. And another one over here with these slats that hold the snow in place. So you'll see a variety of this. I'm actually not sure what the building regulations are these days for building a roof, and if it's still okay to build a flat roof. I'm sure it is. You just have to do the planning permission and have everything correct with the engineer. But I'm not sure if that's required in certain areas if you do have heavy foot traffic passing, for example. But I would say that for someone that's looking to buy property these days, it's definitely seen as a positive point. If you're selling your property, you'll see there in the advertisement that it has a self-shedding roof. And that's what people desire. Something else you might notice about these houses is that they have to deal with extreme temperatures. That's the summer right now. You can see me dripping sweat. It's probably about 30 degrees right now. It's a cool day with a nice cool breeze. And then in winter, it can be in this area, maybe down to -10 realistically, maybe even a little bit more overnight. But when you see the construction of the houses, they're not that great. They're paper thin. The windows are single glazed. There is no insulation. My house had 0 insulation in the roof. It's pretty incredible that these people have lived here. These houses were built in the 50s, 60s, even some 100 and something years ago, and they've never been updated for whatever reason. And you might say that that could be because of culturally, the DIY culture isn't big in Japan, but it probably goes beyond that, that it's just the older generation that has lived there that doesn't see the need or doesn't have the money to spend on updating their house. And I just got super distracted because when I look to my left, I can see beautiful Tangaram. So I'll cross back over, just go for a quick view of this beautiful mountain. And while this is used heavily during the winter, no one's here during the summer. Super quiet in green season. And I don't know, people don't like the summer in Japan because of the heat, but I would say it's one of the best times. I mean, every season to me is an incredible time. This house here is also empty. But these ones are all full. It's not all about abandoned houses. There are definitely people living in this incredibly beautiful, blessed area. So this is one of my closest cafes that I have. I've just walked maybe 10 minutes from the house. Today is closed, but I can still go up and show you what I love about this place. This is my local cafe. It's closed today. Let's walk around the side because they have a pretty cool view. Some old campers over here. Probably been there forever. And around the back here. It's a small sitting area for the cafe. Just very simple design. The food is amazing. The bakery stuff is amazing. But you come out here, grab your food, get something to eat, and just look up at Myoko-san. And up there is Ikimo-taira ski resort. That one. And over to the right is Akukura, Kanko and Onsen. Beautiful summer. And the sunflowers over there. And right besides that cafe is this small little house, but it's probably one of my favorite gardens in the area. The older couple that live here really take care of their flowers and make it look super special. And that one opened up there. Very pretty. Now I'm going to walk a little bit further, and this is about less than 10 minutes from my house to my local sports facilities. This is my gym and kind of health center. My local sports facility is impressive. Could you believe that the countryside has something like this building? Just the sheer size and scale of this thing. And it's all more or less brand new. It's just a few years old. Right next to it is this running track. And it's common to see school students come over here and exercise. They'll use that facility and they'll use this running track. And there's a couple of nice little features around this park too that I'll point out as I walk through. Everything's so green. Some alpine trees. This right here is a swimming pool. So maybe swimming pool is a strong word. But you can fill this up by putting the plug in, which is over here. You stick this plug into the plug hole, which is pretty obvious. Maybe I shouldn't be describing that. And you turn on the tap. And you can enjoy sitting in the cool water on a hot day, enjoying the views. Isn't that great? Really nice. That building over there you see is actually not used. It wouldn't be can't say that's abandoned, that's a government building. That's a Taiukukan, a sports building. Basically they've upgraded to this one, but that will still be used for storage, but rarely people would enter that. That's the reality. Why knock it down when you don't have to? It just costs money. This is a beautiful park. You'll see people here in the morning. I don't want to say early morning, but about 8 a.m. doing some laps around here for exercise or bringing their kids out. And they've got this park over here. This building will be used for the running track. It'll be used for club activities for students or events that happen here. The events will be more local, competing schools, that kind of thing. It's just nice they still have that kind of facility in place. And this beautiful scene ahead is actually the mound that you climb to see inside the baseball field. This whole area here where I'm walking is a snow area where all the snow will fall during winter, and you won't see the roof here. Here it'll be pretty high, compact snow. There'll be no views. All of these, the swing set will be covered in snow. You won't see it at all. In a lot of countryside Japan, you will find these little artworks that are usually put together by the town and by the children and schools that work here, live here. And here we have our close baseball field. Everything's clean. Looks like they've done some maintenance this year after the snow. Some new upgrades to the doors. Very pretty. There's a couple of restaurants over there as well. I haven't gone past there, but I'll just point them out for now. Wonderful place to walk around. And over that side we have a small creek around the walking track. And it's very hot out, but while I'm walking next to the creek, I do feel a change of temperature. It's a great way to cool down, to exercise, and to feel comfortable when you're walking outside. And that's, I'd say, definitely why they put this trail here. Okay, and just walking into the sports hall. There is a foot onsen. Open year-round. It's not just one, actually. There are two. And the impressive thing about this facility is they do have a swimming pool here. It's a recovery swimming pool. It's not for laps. You walk around it, it's a circle. And the swimming pool is actually hot spring water. This mountain here, Mount Myoko, is an active volcano. And it's kind of a unique volcano in Japan where the water is spouting out the top. It's collected at the top and it's brought down the mountain. So it's not bored water. It's actually volcanic hot spring water that comes to the surface, and they tap into it and bring it into the town. That's all used around here and in the hotels and onsen facilities in Myoko. There's a jacuzzi. And there is a swimming pool, just a recovery pool. This is another park that we have close by, and it's a bit of a combination between this temple and shrine and a park. This is right beside the sports building that we just took a look at. And we'll keep heading back towards my house, which is just 5 minutes from here. That's the gas station. That's the gas station we looked at a little bit earlier. Beautiful day today. Have a great light breeze. This is a school close by, and this is an alcohol store. They sell alcohol. You have kegs down here supplying the hotels. And on the right side here is our local convenience store. If we want to go to 7-Eleven, take a right there and drive for 2 minutes, you're at 7-Eleven. This is our most local one. And for what I need. This one here is a plumber, and this is just around the corner for me. I use these guys. This is the guy who installed my toilet. What a legend. This is our trash area. Comes every few days. We have a schedule for this. We'll put our trash inside this building, and our recycling goes outside in here when we need to do that in those blue baskets. People keep it clean, and we have to pay a fee to clean this place. And we clean it ourselves too. It's kind of a community event. So in communities like this, you can choose as a community to clean your own trash area to save a little bit of money in your taxes. So you don't have to pay the government to clean this area. You do it yourselves. You save a bit of money, but you actually have to pay anyway for the products that you use. And it's actually pretty high per year. Don't recall it, so I'm not going to say it, but it seems like it might be cheaper to just have the government clean it, but it's a community event, so it's fun. This is our Suzuki dealership and maintenance garage. And now we're just back around the corner from my house, which is just over there. Yay. All right, and we are back on my street. And over on the left here, this is owned but not abandoned, but someone does own this property on the left. We have another patch in here in the middle, and this is actually where I park. I had been parking during the winter. This was completely just mud. All of this area was just mud. And now it's like a forest. Beautiful flower forest. Comes back naturally. So if I go a little bit further along from the house, I can point out a couple more things. This here on the left is a community storage space. Everyone seems to put the stuff they need for their lives in this building. So some people use that to store potatoes. The sushi place uses that to store some of their rice. Yeah, they just use that. That's the local hairdresser and barber. Again, my house is just here, right? Local hairdresser. Looks like it's falling down, but it's still going. This is an incredibly popular soba restaurant. And they make a whole mix of stuff. It's not just soba, they do everything. On the left here is a post office. And down here we have a hospital. Again, my house is just there. And all this stuff is right here. If I look through down here, you'll also should be able to see an okonomiyaki restaurant. So the great thing about living right here in the middle of town is I have an abundance of options for things for life. From anything from 10 restaurants and cafes to a hospital, hot springs, post office, the convenience store is close by, and the smaller convenience store as well. 7-Eleven is just down the street. Our shiakusho, the city hall, if we have any problems with anything we need to talk about the government with, it's 5 minutes walk that way. This is my city or town hall where I'll do all of my local government things. This is the local train station, Myoko Kogen. It's just outside my 10-minute radius. That was my goal for this video, but this is also a pretty important part of, I think, a feature of where I live, because this is how I would get into town from Tokyo, which takes about 2.5 hours on a good transfer. That little space there is a co-working space. Never actually seen anyone use it, but it's a place, it's a feature of the town. There's actually a better co-working space that's not too far from here, maybe 5 minutes drive up the hill right next to the mountainside. This is the local tourist information center, which has all the information about all the recreational stuff you can do in the area. They also offer that bike rental you can see outside and have a small hiking store, a Montbell store inside. There is a mountain bus here for hiking during the green season, and you'll catch that here at the information center. There's also another local bus that serves the area right next to the station with the taxi bay there. And this is really what people are coming here for. All of these ski resorts. And my place is somewhere near number 3, Myoko Onsen. That's the town I'm in. Right there, you just look up the street here, and that's the way up to the mountain right there. The outdoor activities here in Myoko, in Japan in general, are endless. There are endless hiking trails that are undiscovered and not used, plus there are the popular ones that are. Up here in Ikinotaira, they're also pushing for mountain biking, so they're trying to make this into a mountain biking area. That could be one of the next big popular things. There are mountains everywhere in Japan. There should be mountain biking here. It's got a lot of potential, as do a lot of other opportunities for especially the outdoor season. People are just coming here for winter. This is my favorite coffee shop around here. I think they sell the best coffee. Myoko Coffee, local business. Run by Japanese people. This is the popular supermarket close by. And finally you can see Myoko-san in the background. Probably has the largest selection in this area. Here is my local DIY store. Cool little van just pulling out here. Just a small one, but it has everything that I need most of the time, just the basics. And across the street from here is a fresh farmer's market. This building over here. It's late afternoon and the clouds have kind of opened up. Give us a bit of a view from my old parking space, Mount Myoko. Sun is setting right over the mountain. Thank you very much for joining me on my little tour of Myoko Kogen, the awesome little town that I live in the mountains in countryside Japan. I will spend time going deeper into the restaurants available and some of the other interesting businesses. I'll also interview some of the locals so you can find out who lives here. I do get comments wondering if I live in a ghost town, and I just know Japan well enough now to know that even though when I walk around the streets there's not that many people, that's how it is in countryside Japan wherever you go. It's quiet and people keep to themselves. They also respect other people's space by not making so much noise and not being a nuisance. So you don't see people that much in the countryside. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to drop them below. And if you have any requests for something that you want me to dive deeper in and that I might have not have spoken about in this video, feel free to put it down there as a request. Thanks for subscribing and happy travels!